Newman. Ms. Newman is the General Manager for Jamaican Copyright Licensing Authority, JAMCOPY. Ms. Newman, thank you for joining us and welcome to Reggae Month University.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Shaw.
Now, Ms. Newman, tell us, what is your favorite Reggae Month memory?
Reggae Wednesdays. It's the wide array of music, of performers. It gives you a good sense and a good feel of what reggae is, and that is what I look forward to most of all for Reggae Month.
So, can you tell me?
Go out now thanks to COVID, so we have been enjoying that virtually. We've seen some past events as well as some current ones. So thanks to Jario for continuing Reggae Wednesdays.
Thank you, Ms. Newman. Now, do you have a favorite Bob Marley?
Get up, stand up for your rights, which is very apt even today.
All right, Ms. Newman, the floor is now yours to bring greetings.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. It's a pleasure for me to share brief remarks at this evening's symposium, and I want to thank the Honorable Minister Olivia Grange and P.S. Denzel Thorpe for the kind invitation. The creative industry sector, of which music forms a significantly large portion, is seen by many as the fastest growing sector in terms of employment, value added, and exports. It is acknowledged the world over as the new frontier of wealth creation for nations. At the core of the creative industry is the work and the fruits of the intellect as embodied in the important expressions of creativity and thought of, among others, our songwriters, our performers, artists, filmmakers, dancers, and actors. But there's no point being rich creators of intellectual property and not being able to leverage those creative products for the individual creator's benefit and for national development. In order to leverage the economic and development opportunities, practitioners in the sector must equip themselves with the required knowledge and technical expertise. They must equip themselves with the necessary information, know the rights they have, the myriad ways they can exploit their rights, and the various mechanisms they can earn from their creativity. In my view, 4 basic pillars, prerequisites if you will, are needed in order to protect the delivery of content and encourage creators and other rights owners to trade with their valuable products and services, particularly in this digital age. These are a solid copyright legislation, a secure marketplace, including effective enforcement, effective protection of e-commerce transactions, and reliable licensing mechanisms and rights management systems. We are several meters along the track to having these in place, but there is, for example, some work still to be done pertaining to copyright legislation. There is a solid cadre of experts lined up this evening to give guidance and good information regarding the others. I encourage you, practitioners, to listen and to learn. Equip yourselves with the knowledge to leverage the economic opportunity that exists. Because if not now, then when? Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Newman. And we want to thank JAMCOPY for the work that they have been doing in respect of nation building.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Miss Lydia Rose, the Managing Director of JCAP. We'll be right back.
This is the Small Axe Jesse Royal, aka Natty Pablo. Together we stand now more than ever.
Hey!
Give me now! Don't keep no square in a yes circle. Them come from every angle just to hurt you. Oh, hey! Only lions in a my day. No snake nor no rat can be my friend. Loyalty, royalty. Friends are the best of our currency. We now worship vanity. Unity is our sanity. Eat, steal, coming like gravity. More friend, we are family. Hey! We and the lion them good. We sit down on the corner, cha la 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 la. Pass the chalice round while we read a couple psalms. Every man not clean, no one wanted drama, but we still a stay strapped with the fully answer. We and the lion them go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Jamaica living like we should. Hey, we and the lion them go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We and the lion them good. What is a scare to a Simba? When you learn them lessons, hope you remember. Hyenas will try divide brothers. Some my eyes open, deciphering these others saying nothing not sure in a life. Realize that. So if you is a real one and not decide that, I go make you know as I should. Now wait till you're gone, bro God. The lion them good. We sit down on the corner, burn some marijuana. Pass the chalice round while we read a couple psalms. Every man not clean, no one wanted drama, but we still a stay strapped with the fully answer. We and the lion them go. Jamaica living like we should. Hey, we and the lion them go. We and the lion them good. Fill in the basket, fire we spark it. Send the money go market, bring it in now we just split up the profit. That's the purpose. Family need us. No malice pass me the chalice. All we got to reach out there. I'm my brother's keeper. You don't know friendship to the end. We no want a new friend. He lion them good. We sit down on the corner, burn some marijuana. Pass the chalice round while we read a couple psalms. Every man not clean, no one wanted drama, but we still a stay strapped. Hey, we and the lion them go. Jamaica living like we should. Hey, we and the lion them go. We and the lion them good. We and the lion them go. We and the lion them good. We and the lion them go. We and the lion them good. Together we stand. Yeah, man. Now more than ever we need to start looking out for each other. Dig that. Link will be below. Number that they call. Do what you should while you can. Rastafari. Yeah!
Welcome back. We're now joined by Miss Lydia Rose, Managing Director of JCA. But before Miss Rose begin, Miss Rose, I want you to tell us, what is your favorite Bob Marley song?
My favorite Bob Marley song is Three Little Birds. And the reason is that it's very educational, and you know, you can reflect on it and look at your life and actually live by it. Yeah.
Very well. Now Miss Rose will be sharing information about performing rights. Miss Rose, the floor is now yours.
Thank you so much. Wish to welcome our listeners, our viewers, and everyone who has taken the time out today to join us on all the various platforms that the ministry have afforded us to be educated and to join in Reggae Month in this symposium. Now today is the second of the symposium. Last week we had a wonderful time hearing from Kendall Minter and others on copyright, Lily Claire Bellamy. And this week we are going to continue trying to ensure that the industry and the wider society understand intellectual property and what we are about. What we're about is that the Copyright Act assures a creator that when he creates and he pens whatever his work is, whether music or literary work, and it's registered, that he gets protection. And we look at the various type of protection that the creators have, that the law protects them with. We have the public performance right, distribution right, reproduction right, the right to make derivative works, and the right of public display. Now, I just wanted to go back to say that for copyright, for those who weren't with us last week, it is a bundle of legal rights granted to creators of original expressions. The author is the first owner of the copyright in the work unless there is a written agreement to the contrary. Copyright gives the author exclusive control over reproduction, distribution, and public performance of his work. The cornerstone of copyright protection is originality. So for you to get copyright of a work, it must be something that is original. You cannot copy something from someone else. You cannot adopt something and then register it to say it is your own. You have to come up with your own idea. And after you come up with the idea, in the Caribbean, for the Copyright Act, you must fix that idea in some form, or else it cannot be protected. So when it comes to public performance of your right, it means that you ensure that whatever or whenever your work, whether it be a book that is being read, whether it's a music that is being performed, once it is performed in the public, you have a right to be remunerated. You also have where for derivative works, you have the right to know what is being copied, how it is being copied, and when. For public display, it goes for like photographs. You have a right to how it is displayed. So the Copyright Act gives the creator these exclusive rights, and it's for them to use it. Now, these rights that they have or that they have gotten, just like stocks, bonds, and other asset class, music, which I'll concentrate on tonight, it generates income in the form of royalties. Music copyright has a market value since music catalogues are bought and sold based on multiple of average earnings. Financial securities backed by royalty income from music catalogues can be tailor-made to fit the needs of stakeholders in the music industry. And this is what we want the financial institutions to understand. Copyright is an asset. The Act states that it is property, and we would want to be able to barter it, to use it, to earn from it, and do everything that is possible. Now, David Bowie was able to earn $55 million from royalty income for his catalog, in that he took it to a financial institution and used it as his asset. And that was one of the first form of how financial institutions can assist us and the creators. Now, what type of income stream does copyright give to the creators? You have public performance royalties, you have mechanical royalties, you have sync royalties, and this is where the music is synced with a video. Then you have sheet music, which a lot of persons don't think about. You have the digital format of selling your digital music, and that is when you download a song. So if you're on Spotify, you're able to stream and you're able to listen. Revenue go to the creator that way. And you're also able to download to whatever form type of MP3 that you want to use. It's called mechanical. Then you have income from non-interactive streaming services, which are like the digital services, the radios, the audios, and etc. And you can make money from ringtones, and you can make money from merchandising. Now, if we look and we think about it, we have people say, so, but how is the performance and how do we earn, etc.? No, you have the live performance where you have the concerts. Then you have the public playback where pubs, hotels, shops, offices use the music. And people might say, but why is that hotel playing? Have to pay for the music that they use. Please remember that whenever you use music, whether it's for commercial use, whether it's just to have a pro bono event. Remember that if you did not create that music, you need to ensure that the person who created it is duly rewarded. Now you have music in theater, and you have on your mobile device, and as COVID has taught us, we use the computer more than anything else, and that's where we get music. So you have the YouTube, you have the Deezer, you have the Google Play, you have the Amazon. All of these are just the new digital format in which most copyright owners can now earn from. And how do they earn? Performing rights. And performing rights, as with the other rights that we spoke about, such as the mechanical and etc. But if we think about it, performing rights, which is to perform in public. Music is performed in public more than anywhere else. So that right, if we look at it, is one of the most important rights granted by a country's copyright laws. It is based on the concept that a writer's creation is a property right. And remember I said that it can be used as an asset. Just as how you have your car, and you think of your car and your house as your property, the creator's intellectual right is deemed under the Act a property right. And he is able to license it, and all users who use it can and should pay for it. Now, performing rights are the right to perform music in the public, live concert, music played by DJ, radio, and the list go on. And please remember, if music is played in public, then it is deemed public performance or performing rights. So every song is protected by copyright in two categories: a copyright for the songwriter of the composition and a copyright for the sound recording. And I need to stress for the listening public that an artist is different from a songwriter. And we need to remember that the artist in our local term is actually the performer of the song. Whitney Houston wasn't a songwriter, but she was a performer. So everyone who wrote the songs would be paid the performing rights. While for Whitney Houston, she will be paid as a performer. And a lot of persons say, but if I employ Beenie Man as a performer on my show, why do I have to pay the copyright agency? Remember, you're paying Beenie Man in his capacity to perform. He might not have written the song. He might have been one of the co-writers of the song, but he might not have been, other persons would have written with him. So therefore, you would have to clear the performing rights with the collective management agencies before, and they are the ones who give the right for you to use the music in public. And I wanted to show you what I was just saying. So this song, Controller, as we know it, very popular song, and it's by Drake. And if you can see properly, you will see that there is almost 10 writers of this song. And the 10 writers have different rights. And each writer in turn would have a publisher that has a right in the song. So can you imagine if when Controller is played on RGR, how do these persons get paid? Do RGR go and look for Moses Davis, whose performer name is Beenie Man? Do they go and look for Drake? Do they go and look for Donald Dennis? Do they go and look for all these persons and their publishers? Do they go and look for Shocking Vibes and said, here's a check? No. It's just an inefficient way to actually pay for copyright. So, collective management organizations become the middleman. And they are able to bridge the link between the writer of the songs and the users who want to use a song. Because again, if a radio station who plays almost, I would say, 1,000 music a day, or even more, If they were to go and look for every songwriter, they just would not be in business. The transactional cost would not be worth it. So collective management organizations are there. They help to ensure that the song is authorized for use, whether by copying, reproduction, whether by distribution, whether by public performance. You want to have a party? You need to get the right to use the songs in the party. And anyone doing any of the above meaning public performance, copying the song, distributing the song without having a license or seeking permission, they would be infringing copyright. And why is that so? Music has a value to others, such as businesses. And just as music has a value to the radio station and the businesses, it also has a value to the copyright owners. And so it also have a value to everyone who want to play music and their interest. And in fact, a study has shown that music increased staff productivity as well as customer recommendations and it attracts clientele if you can come into a business and you're able to listen to music. So it does improve the product. For the CMOs, I will show the circular flow of rights income, where you have the music creators on one side, and then you have the commercial users on the other side. And then you have the collective management agencies who are the bridge between both. So, with the fall in record sales, COVID-19 is here. We normally depends on tours and payments of performance rights, but tours are almost, I'm thinking of any of my members who would have said that they are going on tour in 2020. And 2021 has started off even worse. So the income that they would have afforded from playing in Europe, playing on all these festivals, bringing back foreign exchange to the country, etc. COVID has really impacted negatively on it. So therefore, where do they look for their income? Performing rights. The radio stations who are using their music, the restaurants who are using their music, the cable stations, and even these people who are having illegal parties, which should not be having, they are infringing. Because, as I said before, you should seek permission before you use someone's property. So how often do we think about the creative process that went into writing that piece of music and who owns that music? It is important to understand that this creation is someone's property, and I keep repeating property because persons don't understand that just like a teacher and a lawyer, the creator, that is his job. His job is to create, and that is how he earns. The creative process and the IP value leads to exclusive rights. So, people would say, okay, what is a license? A license or permit is required for the public performance of copyright-protected music. It affords the person legal use of the music, it gives revenue for the music creator, and it encourages productivity by the creators. Because if they don't get paid and if they don't have that money to go in the studio and create, how are you going to continue to get this lovely music that you love to hear? I said last week that music was the soothing soul for most people during COVID. So if the creators don't have the money to, and studio time is expensive. And everybody's time is expensive. So how would they earn if persons don't decide that they need to pay them? And that is why performing rights are so important. Now, there are two types of license that you can get from JCAP. There's a blanket license where we give you a license and you use music all year round. So can you imagine if the radio want to use music, it would be impossible for them to call us every minute to say, oh, I want to use Tara's song, or I want to use Beenie Man, or I want to use Drake's song. So they have a blanket license where they're able to use anything from our repertoire. Then you have the transactional license, which are concerts, parties, just one-off. And people again will ask, why do I need a license? Does it matter how music is performed? It is of no consequence whether the public performance is given live or by means of radio, or whether you're doing it for promotional purpose, or whether you're just having something in your business where no revenue will be earned. You need to get a license. And then person would say, I already pay the artist. Do I have to pay the royalties? I've already explained that. You engage the artist in his artist capacity. You did not engage the songwriter in the songwriter capacity. So therefore, you have to pay the collective management organization in order that they can pay the songwriters. And a lot of persons don't know that a lot of the composers who create rhythm, and we call them rhythm in Jamaica, but they're actually compositions. They are not artists. You don't see them on the stage. The artist actually is a celebrity. The performer is a celebrity. You see him. But the persons who are behind the scenes, writing the songs, playing the music, they also need to be paid. And that is where the collective management organization such as JCAP comes in. And one critical question that persons normally ask, do I need a license even though I bought a CD? Now, if you bought the CD, if you look at the CD, you will see where it is say for personal use. So you can use it in your car, you can use it in your home, and you can share it with your friends and relatives. However, the day you take the CD and you play it in your business space for the public, that's public performance. The day you take the CD and you put it, you have a party on your lawn and everyone is hearing it, not just your friends and family, that's public performance. So therefore, you would definitely need to get a JCAP license. And with all that being said, we are saying, okay, play fair. So we in our industry, the collective management organizations, the creators, the writers, the musicians, we are asking you to play fair. And if you play fair, then we will have fair access to channels. The radio stations will play our music. We want radio stations to actually play more Jamaican music so that the money can be retained in Jamaica. When we do our distribution, we are sending almost 70% of what we collect overseas, to the ASCAP, to the BMIs, to Australia, etc., to the UK, because majority of the stations in Jamaica do not play our local music on a regular basis. We are also asked for digital internet radio. Internet radio is popping up everywhere. Everybody's having internet radio. But what about the creators? What about the creative and all their works that they are using on internet radio? You need to get a license. And then we have the low compliance by users. Radio stations, a lot of them don't want to pay, although they use the music. Without the music, I don't know if there would be a radio station. So the importance that they put on their business, they should also put into the product. And that product is music. We are also asking for regulatory frameworks. The court system. I mean, we sue a radio station in order for our writer to get paid, and it's 10 years in the courts. It's going nowhere. I mean, money is value. So if we look at it at the end of the day, when that payout comes, it is money that would have been foregone. We are saying paying for creativity. Essentially, most of our creators generate little in the way of profit, but continue to do music because they love the art. If it was music alone, a lot of our creators would not be in the industry, but they love the art. And in fact, in The Death of the Artist, our creators are struggling, in a book that was written by Mr. Holt. He looked at how we arrive at a situation in which it's easier than ever to share your creativity with the world and harder than ever to make a living do so. So with the onset of internet and everything and COVID and everybody is online and piracy, it's easier to share your work, but it's harder to get paid. He concluded that creators do deserve to get paid for their work, and they provide a product that we all love dearly. And I will close to say that Ted and Jeff Brobrick wrote that the financial importance of the performing rights era cannot be overemphasized. The fact is, a fortune can be made from a single composition. So just imagine when Controller by Drake, which sampled the Beenie Man song Romy, Beenie Man could earn, and others who would have done that song can earn. How much that one song for the life of the composition. And remember, the Copyright Act says that 95 years after the death of the last creator. So that song had 10 persons in it. So after the death of the last person in that one of the 10 creators, they can continue to earn. So performing rights is very important. It can generate millions through successful TV series over a period, box office, and just performance. It also, and I say to people, we see the celebrity and we see their performance and we say, okay, they are earning. But again, I remind you, the songwriters, the person who wrote the lyrics, the person that is there behind the scenes, they also need to earn. And their best way to earn is through performing rights. And performing rights is all the works and the songs that is played in the public for you to consume. So if you consume it and you love it, we are just asking you to pay for it. Thank you. Have a lovely night.
Excellent presentation. But Ms. Rose, I want to ask you a few questions. You talked about copyright in relation to music and the players benefiting from what currently exists, that is the legal framework. But what I want to ask you, does the legal framework cover those persons who, from time to time, they make videos? And in making the videos, they did not envision or see the videos going viral and, you know, the videos take off and persons are using them for commercial purposes. Does the legislation cover persons like these? And can they claim, even without registering with Jam Copy? JCAP, my bad.
I refer to synchronization rights. And a video is a synchronized. The creator of that video have a right. So yes, they can claim. The act actually covers them. And you'll have the producer who created the video, and then you'll have those who would have performed in the video, and you have those who would have written the song for the video. They are all protected and they can claim copyright. So when the video goes viral, if it goes on YouTube, then you know YouTube, you're able to pay based on the amount of, if there's ads on it, again, that's performing rights. If the amount of views that it gets, again, that is performing rights. So everyone who has an original creation, video, music, book, is protected under the
So what about my Facebook status? You know, there are some people who like to write epistle, but it's their idea.
Of course.
Can they claim?
Of course, because if you cut and paste someone's epistle, you're infringing. That is that person's original thought and work that they put down. They actually penned it. They put it on their Facebook. So it's fixed.
I see. Last question.
Okay.
No, as an event coordinator, you know, if I employ, say, Beenie Man, and I pay him as a performer, do I still need to pay the copyright agency if Beenie Man did not write the song that he performed?
Yes, and I say yes resoundingly. I said it in my presentation. And a lot of persons always, when we contact them, they say, but I'm paying the person to perform already. You are contracting, and let me repeat, you are contracting that person in their capacity as a performer. The performer has nothing to do with the performing rights of the
primary creators, meaning the person who wrote the lyrics, the person who licked the rhythm, as we say in Jamaica, and the publisher who also has a share and an ownership in the work. Remember, I said Whitney Houston practically didn't write any of her songs, but she was the performer. She actually brought the song to life on stage. So that's a different right. And they are normally paid as in their capacity there. The back end, the person behind the scene who would have written the songs, they need to be paid. And they're the ones that we don't see. But they are the ones who actually is the brainchild of the song, who is actually should be the celebrity because they wrote the song, right? I mean, in Jamaica, most of the performers, like Bob Marley, were writers of his song. But you can see a lot of claims were made that Bob Marley didn't write all of his songs. Other people had interest. So those are the persons that the collective management organization, such as JCAP, we would collect for them and we would pay to them.
Once again, I want to thank you, Ms. Rose. It was an awesome presentation. And I also want to thank JCAP because you're doing a tremendous job.
Thank you very much.
We will now go to a break. But before we go to a break, please remember to drop those emojis on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you are. We'll be right back.
Reggae month is February. February is Reggae month. Come catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
In line with the Back to Basics theme, we will be joined by Mr. Evan Mullings. Mr. Mullings is the Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Music Society Jams. Mr. Mullings?
Yes, Mr. Shaw, I'm right here.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Good
Mr.
evening to you, your viewers and listeners across all the platforms.
Very well. Mr. Mullings, I've been asking this question all evening. What is your favorite Bob Marley song? You must have a Bob Marley favorite. Everybody has one.
Absolutely. I'm a tremendous fan of Bob Marley, but certainly my favorite song really goes all the way back to quite possibly when I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. I remember hearing my very first Bob Marley at the time, and it was actually Buffalo Soldier. I remember as a boy just walking in my yard, and some neighbors basically trotting through. These are Rasta men trotting through my yard, so to speak, and they were playing this amazing song, and it caught my attention, and it resonated with me, and it has basically stuck with me throughout all these years as still the song that first comes to mind when I think of Bob Marley, and that's Buffalo Soldier.
Now, since we are in Reggae Month, Mr. Mullings, tell my viewers, what does Reggae Month, mean for you as well?
Well, I mean, it's really a time when we get to, as they would, in a cliche way, say, reflect on what it is that we have, and it should not be seen as cliche. It's really something to be taken seriously. We have a tremendous product. We have a tremendous body of work by those who have gone before us, those who have set it for us, so to speak. And it is something which, as a country, we can be justly proud of. You hear it each and every day that we've given the world several genres of music, and very few countries can boast of that. And so we should be justly proud of that legacy which we have given to the world. A music which is loved right across the board. In fact, several genres which are loved right across the board. and which have themselves spawned other genres of music. And so reggae music means to me, something which, basically it highlights and helps us to reflect on the impact that we have had on the world. I'd say a disproportionate impact on the world, given our size, in the global scheme of.
Great responses, Mr. Mullings. So, will we hear about the history of the Buffalo Soldier in your presentation?
No, I'll spare you from that, because I think at the moment there are probably a few more crucial things that we need to cover, and so I'm hoping to use the limited time offered to, hopefully enrich the audience with the information that I can present to them.
My audience is ready for you, Mr.
Okay.
Mullings. You may go ahead.
Right. All right, well, thank you. And once again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I want to also recognize all the viewers and listeners across all the platforms, hoping that by the end of the entire evening, you would have all left feeling not just satisfied, but would have also learned a number of things which can be beneficial to you in this business of music. Now, Ms. Rose has really set the platform. She has done an excellent job of indicating and outlining, what copyright is all about, and outlining for us the different elements of copyright and to some extent related rights. Now, my job really has been made simple because of that, but I will now expand on that and speak in a very particular way about our role, our meaning JAMS, our role as a collecting society, as a performance rights organization. Now, the topic, as I was presented with, it's called music and related rights. And I'm not sure if it was specifically crafted that way in its reference to related rights. But related rights are really the rights, the body of rights that JAMS has to manage. Some will call it neighboring rights. And I'm sure your viewers may be familiar with these terms: copyright, neighboring rights, and related rights. JAMS is a collecting society, as JCAP is, but the key difference between the two bodies is that JAMS represents producers and performers. And I know Ms. Rose spoke quite emphatically and made those distinctions along the way about the difference between a songwriter and a performer. And so during my presentation, I will seek to even highlight those differences even further. But as a rights management body, we are representing that body of rights that are typically referred to as neighboring rights. So JCAP, for its part, will be covering what is deemed to be copyright in the underlying works, copyright in the lyrics and the musical composition. For our part, we are managing the rights. The copyright also, it is copyright, but copyright now in the song recording and rights in the performances on that song recording. And those rights that I'm speaking of are owned and controlled by the producers and performers. And those rights are also to be seen as equal and equivalent to copyright held in lyrics and musical compositions. Now, just to give you a sense of history, so to speak, JAMS, for its part, we started operations in 2007. And I recall Minister Grange actually accepting our invitation in November of 2007 to be our guest speaker at our launch. So we started in May of 2007 and we had our official launch in November of 2007. And Minister Grange was actually our esteemed guest speaker at that particular event. And so it's really been 14 years since that time. And we have basically been able to make a mark and make a name for ourselves representing Jamaican producers and performers. Now, we did not just, of all of our own, basically present ourselves in the space. JAMS came about, and I love to stress this point, JAMS came about out of collaboration between the international body called IFPI, the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. So that is the international body under who we basically, they have the auspices over us, so to speak, to ensure that we are functioning according to standards and guidelines. So that international body, along with the local Recording Industry Association of Jamaica, REAJAM at the time it was, along with other bodies, saw to the establishment of JAMS as Jamaica's producers' rights body. Because by that time, Jacob was, of course, functioning for many years as the songwriters and composers' body. And so there needed to have been a body also functioning to now take care of the rights of the producers and performers. And this is crucial because when you hear persons speak, oftentimes it is in reference to the artist and artist rights, for instance. But it is crucial for the public to understand and to know that besides the artist, who is crucial, who's key to the entire process, it is important for the audience and for the public to know that outside of the artist, there are other contributors to the overall work that we all enjoy, whether it's the recorded work or the live work. And hence, songwriter, composer, on the one hand, as managed by Jacob, and of course, the producer and the performers as represented by JAMS. Now, I'll take a further minute just to kind of distinguish when we say producer, who we mean. The producer that we refer to and that we represent, they have a specific role and they have a specific, let's say, definition, so to speak. So the producer can be an individual, and that individual would be the person who typically organizes and conceptualizes the recording and who then goes on to finance the production of that recording. So it can be an individual in that sense, but it can also be an entity, and that entity that we speak of would be the record label or record company. And so that is the record producer who then becomes a member of JAMS because he owns what we call the master rights. By virtue of his initiation of the recording, getting the artists, getting the other factors of production, paying for studio time, renting studio time if he doesn't own his own studio, paying the musicians, paying the engineers. By virtue of organizing and covering all of those costs, he owns what is called the master rights. And by owning the master rights, or if it's an entity, meaning a record label, they can become members of JAMS and are therefore able to earn royalties from the subsequent use of the recordings that they own the rights to. Now, there is the studio producer. The studio producer we could consider that person to be the one who is employed by maybe a record label to oversee the day-to-day, let's call it the creative direction of studio sessions, for instance. So he's a studio producer. He's hired, he's paid for his services as a studio producer. He's not typically the owner of the master recording, right? Although he can be once he takes on those functions that I outlined earlier. And so that category, the executive producer, the record label, they are the ones that we represent. Now, when it comes on to the performer side of things now, the performer that we're referring to here now are the actual artists and musicians. That's when we refer to performer, those are the persons that we are referring to. The performer, this is the term that the Copyright Act would refer to. But then when you break it down, you're looking at the other persons who have now made what we call an audible contribution to the recording. And so we're talking about the musicians as in the drummer, the guitarist, the percussionist, and even someone who happens to make, he probably just claps on the recording. Once you make an audible contribution to the recording, you're then considered to be a performer on that recording. And so the one that jumps out first and foremost would be the artist himself, then of course the musicians, and then last but not least, we're also talking about the backing vocalists, those who provide harmonies on the tracks that we all enjoy. So backing vocalists also are entitled to royalties. Now, the split between the artists, the main artist, the musicians, and the backing vocalists can vary. And so, for instance, in the UK, 65% of the royalties, the performers' royalties, would go to the main artist, while the remaining 35% is split across the musicians and the backing vocalists, for instance, or the non-featured performers, right? And so not all performers enjoy an equal share in that and several other territories, whereas in other territories, they have a different system for apportioning the royalties due to the performers. Now, I speak of the UK and I speak of other places, but you'll notice I've not said anything about Jamaica in terms of how the performer earns what share. And that is because in Jamaica, there is still a gap in the Copyright Act as it relates to performers. So a performer in Jamaica currently is unable to earn remuneration rights whenever songs are played. And I want that to sink in for a minute. So that same song, let us say by Nadine Sutherland, that gets played in Jamaica on radio or in a club or hotel setting, that is the playing of the recorded work. When that song gets played in Jamaica, the Copyright Act as it stands does not allow for that performer to earn a dime or a penny at the moment. However, when that same song is played in another territory, such as Barbados or the UK or the US, for instance, when that same track by, say, Nadine Sutherland is played in any one of those territories, their Copyright Acts, their laws have been updated to allow for the remuneration rights to be granted to those performers in those territories. And so our performers are able to earn royalties in foreign territories, but are not able to earn that similar royalty in Jamaica. So although I would have spoken to the fact that we represent producers and performers, our representation of performers really at this time is restricted to representation in international marketplaces, right? We cannot license anybody in Jamaica currently in relation to the rights of performers. Thankfully, however, the process to bring forward the necessary legislative changes is underway, and we expect that soon enough those changes will take effect. That will then allow us to become functional and are able to license and collect in respect of performers in the Jamaican space, right? But for now, thankfully, we have international partners who have agreed to basically allow a one-way flow of royalties, meaning that when the songs are played, when songs are played internationally, Jams is now able to collect royalties on their behalf from those marketplaces and pass on to our performers, because those collecting societies have agreed to this one-way flow. What I can tell you, that was actually a very difficult task, because most collecting society partnerships are based on reciprocal arrangements. So they will collect for you once it is that you're able to collect for them in your marketplace. And that is currently how our producers arrangement currently works, and has worked since 2009, 2010. It's a two-way flow of royalties, but for performers, it currently is simply a one-way flow, which works for us. But nevertheless, we would also want to see our Jamaican performers are able to earn within the Jamaican space when songs containing their performances are played. Now, just a small and further clarification in that whenever we talk about performers' rights and performers' royalties, it is really in relation to the use of the recorded work, not live performances. So when Taurus Riley, for instance, performs on a stage live, he gets paid by the promoter for entertaining, as a performer, for entertaining or providing a live entertainment service. We, however, when we license that event as a collecting society, if and when we are able to do that, it will not be in relation to the live performance, because the right of the performer does not subsists, it does not exist in the live performance, it exists in the recorded work. And so JCAP, while JCAP is able to license that promoter and collect in relation to the use of the written work, the lyrics and musical composition, Jams would not be able to license that event for the live performances. It is really only to the extent that recorded music is used at that live event that we would be able to collect royalties and pass on to our performers. Of course, when the law gets changed and that takes effect. Now, I'm speaking of royalties, and I want to take a minute just to outline that royalties simply do not emerge from nowhere. And Ms. Rose spoke to the different sources, some of the different sources where royalties flow from, and it is basically similar for us. And so the radio broadcasters, the TV operators, in terms of public performances, we're talking about the clubs, the restaurants, the bars, the hotels, and so forth. These are the sources where royalties come from. And so producers, performers, the general industry needs to have that appreciation that money flows from these sources, but it takes a lot of work, it takes hard work to get music users to pay for the services and to pay for the use of the music. And that is where our job as a licensing body, as a collecting society, really becomes and is shown to be extremely relevant. Because yes, as a producer, yes, as a performer, yes, as a songwriter, you could conceptually take it upon yourself to go and speak to RJR or speak to a hotel operator, because you know that your songs have been played in the establishment or on the radio station. But that is quite impractical. And so our role as a collective management body is to basically represent, all of those producers, all of those performers within the Jamaican space that, gives us the right to do so. And in a collective way, ensure that these music users have the necessary license and pay the fees, which we then pass on as royalties to those members. Now, what I can say is that while our first arrangement concerning performers internationally now took place in about 2017, and we have been working quietly since that time to bring performers on board, I can actually announce in this particular symposium that we have just basically completed an arrangement with an international partner, which will now see Jamaican performers and producers having access to global representation. And I mean global representation through us, through the partnership that we have brokered with this major international partner. And it will basically widen our footprint. So Jamaican performers, the artists, the musicians, the session musicians, the backing vocalists, you name it, to the extent that they are currently unrepresented, and to the extent that they register with us, they will now have access to royalties from a wide array of countries internationally through us. And this is huge, this is significant, because to this date, there are many performers who, out of ignorance to some extent, are leaving money on the table, so to speak. Producers likewise. And so our role as a collecting society, really, especially during these times, is becoming more and more relevant. In 2019...
Excellent point, Mr. Mullings. We have to hold it there for a minute. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Sure.
One form against we can prosper. And though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we fear no evil. God over COVID-19, walk one. Hand over your head and then you go so. Go so, cover me, cover me, cover me under your blood. Cover me, cover me, cover me. Somebody just say, under your blood, Lord. I say, somebody say he's all over me and he's keeping me alive. Somebody just say, somebody just say, all over me, and he's keeping me alive. Somebody just say, nobody's able to keep us from fall, from every attack. Now when the devil started, from danger seen and unseen, he's my help, he will rescue. Watch me go to when the enemy comes upon me like a flood. God raise a standard, cover me under the blood, under the blood, under the blood, all over me, all over me, all over me. And he's keeping. Somebody just say, somebody just say, all over me, all over me, all over me. Somebody just say, somebody just say, Jesus is keeping. Yo, watch me now, you know what I'm going right now. In the midst of COVID-19 right across the globe, all I'm hearing is world leaders telling the people that you need to wash your hands, that you need to be the one who stay inside. I want to tell you something. The answer is simple. In the mirror, you are the answer. You can cause a change. Somebody said the answer's in the mirror. The mirror. In the mirror. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Answers in the mirror. The mirror. The mirror. You are the change, yeah. Are we living in a selfish world with self-centered men, women, boys and girls? Caught in self-pity, seeking self-justice. Every human come subscribe to this. Let's choose to help others. Don't be self-serving. Better to give than receive. It's more rewarding. Bound to lead in an area of gifting. No excuse. Walk in your calling. We are the change, yeah, that we want to see. Yeah. We can change the world. It takes to you and me. I am the change that I want to see. Watch me change the world. The change is within me. Hey, hey, hey. The answer's in the mirror. The mirror. In the mirror. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. In the mirror. The mirror. It's not a black and white thing, but a dark and light thing. Ignorance them my light and knowledge them fighting. So get this right, king, you're not a peasant, you're a king. Stop fussing over dirt, which is the color of your skin. Greater than your outside, the image that's within your character likeness. Lightning you're shining, no conform, be transformed. World changers rising, every world changer out there. We are the change that we want to see. Yeah. We can change the world. It takes you and me. Say I am the change, yeah, that I want to see. All across Jamaica, all across the United States, the UK, everybody in the world coming together. The answer's in the mirror. The mirror. In the mirror. Oh yeah, yeah. The answer's in the mirror. The mirror. The mirror, oh yeah. Heard the mirror say hello, take a look. Tell me what you see. Can't point a finger, it comes back at me. Mirror, oh the mirror. The answer's in the mirror. The mirror, the mirror. Oh yeah, yeah. The answer's in the mirror. The mirror. We are the change, yeah. We want to see. We can change the world. It takes the you and me. We are the change, yeah. We want to see. We can change the world. It takes the you and me. We are the change, yeah. We want to see. Put a clap on it in your house. Put a clap on it in your house. Say, hey, we are the change, yeah. We want to see, oh, we can change the world. It takes the you and me.
We are the change we want to see. we can change the world. That was an awesome performance by Mr. Rondell Positive. Remember to drop those fire emojis in the Facebook and YouTube section. Now, welcome back, viewers. Mr. Mullings.
Yes, I'm right here with you.
Earlier you talked about what I term as a groundbreaking initiative by JAMS. How can viewers get in contact or in touch with JAMS to get more information about the work that JAMS is doing at this time?
Sure. Well, certainly we're going to be making, just to say that we're going to be issuing a press release concerning this, as you rightly described it, groundbreaking arrangement that we have for global representation. And that will be in another week or so. So there are more details made available to the public concerning that arrangement. But in the meantime, members of the public, artists, producers certainly can get in touch with us at 978-1010 or simply by emailing musicmaker@jamsonline.com, and that is musicmaker@jammsonline.com. And certainly the most, I think most of our creative professionals right now are on Instagram, and we're there also. We're in the social space. And so please feel free to join us at Jams4Music, that's Jams4Music on Instagram, and you'll find us there, and we'll assist you with all the queries that you have and help you to become part of this initiative that we have going on to ensure that Jamaican creators and owners of music are indeed represented and earn the royalties that are due to them.
Thank you, Mr. Mullings. That was, I must admit, an excellent presentation, and I know my viewers would agree with me. Now, we want to turn things, we want to shift gears a bit, and so we now welcome Dr. Ellis Rich, OBE, CEO of Supreme Songs Limited. Mr. Rich will share his wealth of music publishing knowledge in a presentation titled, "It All Starts with the Song, Why Proper Registration Matters." Good evening, Dr. Rich.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
And can you see my slides?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. So,
Dr. Rich, before you go into your richness or to share the richness with us, you know, we want you to tell us what is your favorite reggae song, and if at all that song is a Bob Marley.
it is a Bob Marley song, and there's a particular reason why I choose this song. MCGES is a music festival in the south of France that you may be aware of. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I'm a pianist, I'm a musician. In the Majestic Hotel, I started playing this song, and there were a lot of people that had not to drink, and they didn't want us to stop. And apparently we did 35 choruses of One Love. So that's why that's my favorite Bob Marley track, because it was the most amazing. I think it went on for about an hour.
So, but you're a pianist, but can you drop that note for us, the One Love note?
I'm sorry?
Can you give us a piece of that One Love, that Bob Marley piece?
You would not want to hear me singing, and I don't have a piano where I am.
You want me to start? I'll help you out.
I'm sorry?
I'll leave you, Dr. Rich. Now, lastly, how will your presentation add value to Reggae Month?
Well, I would like to think so, and I would like to help people get the money that they deserve. So I shall start now. The slide you can all see is outside my back door, because we're in snow, it's sub-zero, it's after midnight, I'm not allowed to have a haircut because we're locked down, and I really wish I was there
Okay,
in Jamaica.
Dr. Rich, we're not
Yeah.
seeing the slides yet. And we really want to benefit from all this, richness that you're about to share, we really want the wealth as well,
Okay. Right.
So we'll tell you as soon as we're able to see it. Yes, so we are now able to see your slides, Dr. Rich. So go ahead.
Okay, so this is just after midnight in London, covered in snow, and I intend to squeeze a lot into my 1500 seconds, and there will be time for some questions. First, I'll give you a really, really quick run through my music career, and then I will talk about registration, which sounds really very boring, but if it is not done properly, no one will get paid. Even though creative brains and royalty calculations do not fit well together, but I believe that without the song, there is nothing, and every creator deserves to be paid for the pleasure they give the world. A famous British Prime Minister put it better than I ever could. He said, "A day without music is like a day without life." And that was the late Sir Edward Heath in 2001. Now, one way or another, I've been involved with music for most of my life. And here is a lightning tour of where the music took me. I had an instrumental hit of my own in 1972. That's nearly 50 years ago. It reached number 21 in the charts, selling 400,000 records. Times have changed. Physical sales are much lower, but streaming numbers are high, but pay a very low royalty. One of my first jobs was at EMI Music Publishing, and I was a music copyist and an arranger, and also arranged sheet music for all the Queen hits, which was not easy. Large sections that could not be repeated because of extra bars or changed time signatures meant the sheet music was often 3 times as long as it used to be. After signing US group Blondie to EMI, I left, taking my assistant, Simon Carroll, who you may have heard of, with me, and ENS Music was born. We took out an advertisement in the Medem Guide at our first visit to Medem. That got us some attention. And we also had a first hit record with Rough Mix, with a dog we called Wonder Dog barking a tune using a dog's bark sample found in a Fairlight synthesizer. Simon wore the dog outfit for TV appearances and signings in record shops where he would place a paw print on any record a customer bought. Simon only wore the outfit because I couldn't get into it. And there is the record. Now, I became a publishing director of the UK Performing Rights Society, the UK equivalent of JCAP, and eventually became publisher, deputy chairman, and then finally chairman of PRS in 2005 for 6 years. As PRS chairman, I met many artists and songwriters. I met Kylie Minogue. I met LaToya Jackson. I met Quincy Jones, here with Don Black, who wrote Born Free. And one of my favourite pairs of songwriters was Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. And Elton John, and this was only a small number of them. At the end of my chairmanship, I was absolutely amazed to receive an OBE from Prince Charles for services to the music publishing industry, and also got an honorary doctorate of music from Anglia Ruskin, Cambridge. Now, that's enough about me. I want to show you this. This is how complicated the music royalty picture has become. I'm not expecting you to memorize this diagram, but it gives you an idea of just how difficult royalty collection is. Without collection societies, life would be very difficult for radio and television stations to use music, as they would officially need to ask for permission every time they played a record. Societies around the world create ways of helping to store song data, songwriter data, publisher data, percentage share data, mixed version data, and that's not even to include all the plays on radio, television, and uses in shops and stores. The sheer enormity of the number of songs is becoming almost impossible to process. They try using worldwide standards like CAE numbers, shortly to become IPI number, but it's the same number. And they'll use various different abbreviations. But like all of us, societies can make mistakes. Writers and publishers' names and titles can be spelt incorrectly. And what I've done, every registration on the following few slides is real and current. All I've changed is the names of the songwriters, because I shouldn't really be showing you those. The percentage shares are real, as is the lack of information. And this, of course, makes it impossible for societies to account to writers and publishers correctly, if at all. So let's assume you're a songwriter called John Jones. How would any collection society know which one of the John Jones on this list of songwriters on the CAE database is you? They might guess, but they'd probably be wrong. Now, let me remind you, this is a real entry at PRS. The only thing I have changed is the membership number and the name of the songwriter. Everything else is correct. On this registration, let's assume that you are D South as opposed to Kanye West. A society can only know what it's told. It doesn't know what your share is, even though you do. You can see that at the moment, 77.60% of the money on this song is going nowhere. That is how it will stay unless and until the missing information is provided. Because there are no societies mentioned on this one, no money will be paid out. It will remain in suspense, not being paid out, and after a few years, it will be distributed to other publishers and songwriters, often on a market share basis, even though they had nothing to do with your song. Now, once upon a time, sources for music royalties were straightforward, but now it has completely changed to accommodate the multiple sources where royalties have to be collected from. And that is not allowing for the exponential growth in the number of television and radio stations across the world, or for shops and clubs and anywhere else where royalties should be collected. So how much do you actually get paid for streaming? Now, I'll leave this slide up for a little while because there's a lot of information on it. Now, the chart gives you a rough idea. The figure is not constant. Payout rates vary. They may be introducing different categories of membership, and that will affect it as well. But it certainly gives you an idea of the relationship between the different services. Now, do songwriters need music publishers? Well, as a music publisher, I obviously believe they do. They can help you get synchronizations where the value has not dropped. They can get songwriters to write with others. Sometimes you can end up with a great song in a style that sounds like none of the songwriters wrote it. Or there may be samples that need to be cleared or discovered depending on which side you are, and discussed and negotiated. If you are not a member of a collection society, you should either join one or make sure your publisher is collecting for you. And mechanicals are really important as well. Same advice applies. Remember, they form up to half of your streaming income. In the old world, licenses were granted for physical products such as CDs, cassettes and vinyl, often before release. That doesn't always happen with digital. For example, in the UK, a music service provider will tell the UK PRS what they have streamed in the previous quarter, and after researching these titles, PRS will invoice the MSP for those amounts. If PRS cannot find the copyright information, it will not be included in the invoice to the MSP, and the songwriters will not get paid, nor will they ever know that their song was streamed. Remember, you need all possible information: full names, middle names, your CAE number, assuming you are a society member, And if there is a commercial recording or release or a video on YouTube or Vimeo, you will need an ISRC number, because societies often use this code to identify and collect your video performance income. But the internet is a wonderful thing. It has internationalized the world of music. There is nowhere in the world where you cannot upload or download a song. Expensive studios are not really needed anymore. Creating, showcasing and hearing music is now easier than it ever was. And I believe that music consumption is now at an all-time high. The downside is that the web is very crowded, and as well as quality, songwriters and recording artists have to get themselves noticed in whatever way they can. I hope I've been helpful to at least some of you. My email address is available from the organisers, and I'm always pleased to help. Several years ago, I ran a copyright seminar in Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, and finishing up here in Jamaica. I appeared on the Smile Jamaica breakfast show to publicise the seminar later that morning, and we were totally overwhelmed with 4 times as many attending as the room we had booked at the Kingsley Court Hotel would hold. We found a bigger room, but that was in a world when we could really meet up and talk, and hopefully it will not be long before we can do that. I believe we are going to have time for some questions, but I just wanted to add that the 10 people that have requested information about the state of their copyrights will get their report by this weekend. So I would now like to hand over to a Q&A, which I assume the organisers will be fielding for me.
Thank you, Dr. Rich. We are getting some questions. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we will field those questions to you. We'll be right back.
I'm in.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna feel. This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge. Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat up inside your heart.
Whoa.
Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Reggae Month is February. February is Reggae Month. Don't catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
Welcome back, viewers. I want to thank you, Dr. Rich, for staying with us. We have one question. My viewers want to know, what does the process entail to check for their song registration status in the UK? Dr. Rich?
Okay, I'm back.
Very well.
Well, as you know, there were the first 10 applicants have contacted me, and we'll be providing a report for them. And this is something we traditionally do when we receive new clients. In almost all cases, we find issues, and there are many ways of making a mistake, in terms of sometimes there is a writer that they are not linked to their society membership. So the money will be allocated to them, but because they're not linked, there's no payee information, no publisher controlling. So it just stays like that. And as I've said in my presentation, after a couple of years, that money is paid out to everybody else. In fact, almost everyone except the person that actually wrote the song. So it's very important to get these things sorted, because, as I say, the money will eventually disappear.
Thank you once again, Dr. Rich. I must admit that your presentation was very, very insightful, and I know for sure that my viewers have learned a lot from what you presented to us this evening. Now, we will move on to our final presentation for the evening, Mr. Yuri Krajcek. Mr. Krajcek is a music publishing expert who will be sharing a presentation titled Where the Money Resides, the Art of Exploiting Your Catalog. I can't wait to hear this presentation. Good evening, Mr. Krajcek. Are you there?
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. But before you begin your presentation, Mr. Krajcek, can you tell us your favorite reggae artist? I don't want to get you in any trouble, though.
My favorite is Ernie Smith.
Ernie Smith?
Yes, sir.
So could you give us a song from Ernie, your favorite Ernie song?
Pitter Patter.
Sure. So you want to drop a piece for us, man? You know, even one verse. No.
You would lose all your viewers if I tried.
I can't run that risk this evening. Now, what does Reggae Month mean to you?
I am not that closely involved in the actual events. This is the first year that I've participated. But last week I viewed the sessions, and I viewed the session today, and I must say that the caliber of what has been discussed has been very informative, and if the next two sessions are of the same caliber, your musicians, songwriters are going to come away with an education that would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in hard knocks had they done it just guessing at how to do things.
Thank you for your response, Mr. Krajcek. Now you may go ahead and share with us.
Okay. My association with Jamaica goes back to the early 1970s. And in those days, things were a big mess as far as songwriters and the recording scene goes. The artist would record a song and get paid £10, which covered the royalty for the artist and the song. The producer would register the song in his name, and the poor artist would get nothing. Also, in those days, a lot of the product that was coming out was white label. It didn't have any credits on it at all. So today, when I'm asked to try to reproduce who wrote the song, families are asking, where do we get the royalties? It's a real challenge because the proper information was not given at the time. Now, last week and today, we have been hearing about copyright and how to copyright a song. We've also been hearing about sources of income. But there's certain things that a songwriter, and I'm going to speak about the songwriter today, and hopefully in the future somebody can speak about the recording artist. But there's certain things the songwriter has to do in order to participate in this income that gets generated by a song. Just by getting the song, having the song copyrighted, doesn't mean the money is going to fall out of the sky. You need to join a performing rights society, and you need to make certain that they are made aware of all new works that you create, not just the songs that you create at the time that you register with the society, but also songs that you will create during the course of your relationship with them. They are not mind readers. They don't know what songs you have written. So unless you tell them what songs you have written, they can't put the songs into the system. Another thing is, a lot of times I will have people come to me saying, well, I'm a member of JCAP, but I'm not getting any money. I investigate, and 90% of the time, the reason is the songwriter, when he registered, lived at one address, then he has moved to another address, and he hasn't notified the society of where he has moved to. If you're moving, you have to tell your different sources of income where you have moved to so that they can continue to pay you. Otherwise, the money's going to pile up and they don't know where to pay you. Ellis showed an example, or no, it was the lady from JCAP who showed an example of a song by Drake that had 10 different composers on it. And with dancehall and a lot of the product that's coming out of Jamaica, songs have a similar situation with many different songwriters. It is important at the time that the song is created in the studio that you make up a list of all the participants, what society they belong to, what percentage of the song they are supposed to get, and who their publisher is. And everybody sign that paper agreeing to it, and everybody gets a copy of that paper. There are so many instances where the producer registers his share of the song, maybe one or two other participants register, and the other people do not. And so the money sits there and doesn't get paid. And Ellis showed you an example of that, where the society does not have the complete information, the money doesn't get paid out. Where you have the sheet that has been filled out, and one of the songwriters, for instance, has me publish his songs, I am able to submit the complete history of that song, the complete information of that song, even if the other publishers or songwriters don't. But at least the complete information is in the system so that the people know who to properly distribute the money to. It was mentioned by the JCAP lady that a lot of money is collected in live performances, not only in Jamaica, but throughout the world. And this is true. Live performance can be a major source of income for you. But again, the society is not a mind reader. They don't know what songs have been performed. And it's not like a radio station that they have the ability to monitor what a station is playing. So they require you as the songwriter to submit a program of what was performed and also submit either a ticket or a poster showing proof of the performance. That way they will program all the songs into their computer and you will be paid for live performance. It's to your advantage to do this even if the other song performers on the show do not submit their programming. And I'll give you an example. I had a Jamaican artist who a few years ago went on tour as the opening act for a major rock group playing in arenas and major concert halls. I told the artist that I wanted him to give me a set list of what he was performing so that I could submit it to the society. He told me that he'd been in the business for many years, he hadn't done this, and he's not going to do it now. Well, eventually I was able to convince him to do that. He submitted his programming. The major rock act did not submit their programming. The performances were in the United States, and in the United States, and in a lot of other countries, the society gets a percentage of their gate receipts that goes towards the use of the music. So my guy ended up getting the whole pot, although realistically, if the major act had submitted their programming, he would have gotten a smaller piece of the pot. But because they didn't, as the opening act, he ended up getting $300 per song that he performed per night, just as live performance. So that is a substantial amount of money that can be earned. And I'm sure JCAP will agree with me that one of the hardest things to do is to discipline the songwriters to submit their programming for live performance. These days, with income from radio going down because they're selling fewer and fewer commercials, the commercials are going on the internet, live performance can be more lucrative than radio play. We spoke about the internet. The use of your songs being streamed, being used on Facebook, YouTube, and other resources. It is important when you submit the information along with your song to these various sources that it contains the proper metadata, that it contains the proper composer information. If it doesn't, again, you don't get paid, the money goes in the black box. And speaking of proper composer information, although the day of the CD is rapidly dying, it still exists. Physical product is still being manufactured. And it is important, next to the song title, to have the name of the composer. You can have, there's 1,500 songs called I Love You. If the name of the composer is not listed beside the song title on the recording, the society doesn't know who to pay. And again, the money doesn't get paid out. With the internet, there's now thousands of different sources that money is coming in from. It used to be when you made a recording that you would have to find somebody in the United States to release it. You'd have to find somebody in England to release it, somebody in Canada, somebody in Japan. Those days are gone. The minute you put something on the internet, it is available to the whole world. So it is very important that your song be properly registered, not only in your home country, but throughout the whole world. That your song be properly registered, not only. And this is one of the reasons that you need to find a publisher to work with, a publisher who has the connections. And it's his job to keep your songs earning as much money as possible for as long as possible throughout the whole world. There's many people who call themselves publishers. They just register the song with the local society, and that's it. That's not what you want, because somebody in Poland might hear your song and want to use it in a commercial. They go to the local society. If it's properly registered, they know who to contact and to get the rights. If the local society has no information, they'll move on to some other song, and you lose out on the possibility of a synchronization. A publisher can assist you in getting promotion of your song, locally and internationally. It used to be that with my company, our major promotional efforts were to radio, to get the song played on the radio. The world has changed. Now my people are working at getting those songs onto Spotify, getting the songs on YouTube and other social media sources. And your internet is accounting for over 50% of your income. So you've got the song copyrighted. You know the sources of income, and you make certain that you have your paperwork done and properly registered, so that when your song is used, you can benefit from the money that can be earned. Another thing, when I speak of internationally, with the internet and it being so easy to place music on the internet, and with recording being so easily done these days, every second musician has his own recording studio. There is an unbelievable amount of new product coming on the marketplace. There are 40,000 new songs being added every day on the internet. Multiply that by a year, that's 18 million new songs every year being added. The societies are overwhelmed. They can't keep up with adding the songs. So they have allowed the major publishers and medium publishers like myself access to their computers, that we can enter the songs that we represent into the computers, that they are there for when performances take place. And having an international network is an advantage, because there you have somebody in each country making certain that those songs are added into the computers of the societies in their country. Do we have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Krychuk. Now,
Yes.
in this age where persons are doing more and more online banking, is the society moving towards, paying persons online than, providing checks? As you spoke about the difficulties sometimes in locating, creators.
Yes. I don't know how the system is in Jamaica, but for instance, in Canada, the society no longer sends out checks, only online. And PRS, ASCAP, BMI, Harry Fox, all Sound Exchange, all of the societies deal with online banking. But here again, somebody moves from one town to another, so they change their bank account from one account to another. And you need to notify the society of your new bank account.
So once you notify the society of whatever movements or relocation, then things are rectified without having to deal.
Yes, because the society knows which bank account now to pay the money to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krychek. We're now going to move to a presentation by Freddie McGregor. The song is titled Captain of Big Ship.
With God on our side, you know I fear no evil. For thou art with me. I tried the rocky road, yeah. I thank you, Lord. If God is for us, who can be against us? You know I fear no evil. With God on our side, true love will abide. Yeah, yeah, now. I was walking down the road one day when an angel said to me, I've got work for you to do. I kept wondering what could that be. He said, take these words of love and sing them to everyone you see. Now if God is for us, tell me who can be against us? That's what my grandma used to say. And with God on our side, true love will abide. Hey, now. Oh, little angel, please stay with me. Will you teach me some more so I can know the score? Yeah. So I'll be able to share with the world this love that you've given the day that you were risen. To each his own, everyone's got their opinion. Practice what you preach. Be careful what you teach. Yeah. Don't be hasty in your judgment today. Seek guidance from above. He'll show you how to love. Yeah. If God is for us, who can be against us? I know He lives forever. And with God on our side, true love will abide. Will abide forever. If God is for us, who can be against
Hi. How are you? Hello. Yes. Hi, how are you? Uh, Yuri? Can you hear me, Yuri? Ellis? I just want to say hi to
Yes, I can
everyone.
hear you.
Ellis, how are you? Great presentation.
Can't hear you now.
You're hearing me now? Are you hearing me, Ellis? Very good. I just want to thank Ellis, Yuri, Lydia, everyone for participating tonight. Of course, jams as usual. I wanted to be in studio, but I was in Parliament. So I am joining from a location. But I just want to say this series has been going very well. As Yuri said, it's an education for many. And it is important that persons in the industry understand and know about the business of music and entertainment. I really hope they have learned a lot, and I hope that this will make a difference going forward for many. This series has been fantastic, so I want to be able to continue the series after Reggae Month, just to ensure that the members of the industry, the members of the sector, are brought up to speed on international best practices, how to protect their works, how to maximize the benefits from their works, how to monetize their works, and how to collect the money. Because many writers out there, creative people, there's money out there for them, but they have not done all the things that are necessary to ensure that when their works earn, where their music is played, when they perform, that they have done all the things that's necessary to collect. I've known Yuri and Ellis for a very long time, and they have contributed tremendously over the years in helping a number of Jamaicans to earn royalties and to protect their works. And I look forward to continuing to working with them. These times are challenging. Everything is now virtual. Not much touring going on. And, I'd love to hear what Ellis and Yuri have to say in relation to how we can maximize the virtual space and ensure that the earnings come. How can we do it? It won't come overnight, but how can we do it? I don't know if we have time that Ellis and Yuri could comment.
Because it's such a crowded place, I think now that everyone has to do a lot to get themselves noticed, because I think that's the big issue, that it's just so crowded. So it's very easy to get your product up there, but to make it be listened to, and some of the statistics that are coming out now about the long tail is that back in the old days when the top 20 records were the only ones that were selling, now the top 1,000 records are selling, but at a lower level. So to actually be heard above all that noise is very, very difficult.
Yes, I recognize that. Yuri, you have a comment? I think Yuri's gone. I think Yuri left us. Well, but there are some challenges, but the way right now with COVID-19 to reach an audience is virtually. And whatever we have to do to make sure we can maximize whatever earnings there may be. I mean, there may be pennies, but it's millions of pennies. And if the works are properly registered, those pennies and cents can add up
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And if we are properly represented or we have done the right things, when it adds up, it will get to you.
I can also tell you that quite a few of the 10 people that applied for information are definitely not being paid properly. And I'm not sure if you've seen your email, but I've offered to take an additional 10, as long as they can wait a few more days, because I've got these to finish by the weekend. But let's make it available to another 10 songwriters to try and find, because as always, I'm surprised how many people are just not getting paid. And it is crazy, because the work is being done, the creations are happening, and the money is just swimming around.
Well, I know that BMG has a list of persons that they're trying to track. And I'm also speaking to Universal Music. They're compiling a list because royalties are being held for a number of these persons, but they can't find them. Some have deceased and their estate are not benefiting. So we have a job to do, Ellis, and if we can work together to see how we can identify where those funds are and how we can find the writers, and even in terms of performers, you know, the royalties earned from just their records being sold, and they were never paid because they couldn't be found. So I really look forward to us working together.
Absolutely. Does the Jamaican the Jamaican Vintage Artists Association still exist?
It does. Java exists, yes.
Right.
And
okay.
and what we're happy, the organizations, there's Java, there's the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, there is the Jamaica Sound System Association, there is JCAP, as you know, there is JAMS. And I think all these organizations over the years have had capacity building and capacity strengthening. So we have a much stronger infrastructure to treat with these matters. We just have to get our creative people to establish the discipline, to display the discipline that is required. You know,
but what is definitely happening is that more songs are earning money. The tail is getting longer and longer. So it's really important that people realize that it's worth putting the work in with the registrations.
It is. So Ellis, I want to thank you and to thank everyone who have participated. Thank our Mr. Mullings from JAMS, Shauna Kay for coordinating. I see Carol Newman on, and Lydia was on earlier. Mr. Shaw for hosting, and all those who work in the background, to say that I think we're onto something here and we should keep this going. Right, Evan?
Lovely to see you again.
Hi, Minister.
Yes.
I was listening to you and I just wanted to say that I'm not sure if you caught any of my presentation, but what
I did.
Right, what I wanted to say, especially coming off your comments just now, is that where performers are concerned, we have actually just put ourselves in us, meaning JAMS, in a very significant position in terms of Jamaican performers by virtue of an arrangement that we've brokered with a major international rights management company that will now give us essentially global footprint, and a truly global footprint on behalf of Jamaican performers. I'm happy to say that last year, 2019, coming into 2020, we were able to identify and collect royalties for a number of Jamaican performers, including musicians, not just artists, but including musicians. And we are basically now widening that pool of persons and encouraging and inviting more performers to sign on, because there's money out there for them.
That's right.
I'm happy to say that there are performers who are actually now benefiting as a result of the reach that we're now having into these marketplaces.
Yes, well, that's excellent, Evan. You know, and I just want to commend you for doing an excellent job, and for JCAP. We just have to continue to educate the persons in the sector so they understand. And, you know, sometimes someone may set up a publishing company, but it's a name. There's no administration, and nothing is really happening for them. So we just have to educate them. Once they know once they know about the business, they will know who they can trust, and they will know if things are being managed properly, if the administration is doing a good job. But it is important. It is important to network. It is important to have professionals managing your affairs so that you will get the maximum benefit. It's better to give up a 10% and a 15% or whatever and get more than, you know, be a big fish in a small pond that's not earning anything. You know, it's better to be a small fish in a big pond that's earning something. And I just want to encourage persons in the sector who's listening to draw on the professionals. This series has given us the opportunity to hear professionals speak and for us to reach out to get the kind of professional support and advice that we need to make good on what we have. So I think I've talked too much. All right. I just wanted to say thanks to everyone. I'm sorry Yuri's off, but we'll probably get him on the next time around. And this series, I want to continue the series after Reggae Month, because there is so much to learn, and there is so much to know, and there's so much to say. So thanks again. Thanks, everyone.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm going to go to bed. Thank you and good night, all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm not for keeping people up all night.
My pleasure. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Minister.
Alexander, you have made your debut as a host.
Very well, Minister. We want to thank our sponsors for this evening: Universal Service Fund, Chase Fund, the Jamaica Tourist Board, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, and CPTC. I want to thank all our viewers, wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, for joining us this evening, discussing music and related rights, part 2. It has been a pleasure being your host, and I trust that you have gained enough knowledge to assist you in maneuvering this industry. Join us next week, same time, same place, when we hear about estate planning and pensions. And I know that when we speak about estate planning and pensions, it's really a subject that people really don't want to deal with, the fear factor of death. But next week, you will get insightful information as to how you can put your house in order, as Minister would usually say. Thank you for tuning in this evening.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart, feeling of pure
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Reggae month is February. February is Reggae month. Don't catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed. Reggae month is February. February is Reggae month. Don't catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat. Up inside your heart. Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app now available at the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Presenting highlights of the Children of Icons Concert Tour. Showcasing young and emerging artists in the Jamaican music industry.
People, that youth here, a real youth, Rastaman, Ibana, Lion, so not a beer, make some noise, me brethren, yeah, Donna.
I look at no, St. Mary, said the truth, no need, no faith, no way. So why you want to defend yourself, when you know say I want the truth, no come, no argument, no way. Why you want to yourself, when you say I want the life is the confuse yourself, burn the money and you got no else. Put your heart where you can't reach it, you're ready and the people think that you are about you and motive and it's no secret. Come and stop this secret. Tell me people, let me say something now. The truth, no need, no faith, no way. So I want to defend you say, when you say, oh, but it's of the truth, no come, no argument, no way. So I
I'm happy for you. I'm so proud to call you my empress. And if all the plans reveal, no time at all, I wouldn't second guess. I never want you to know, but I have to confess. You are my girl for me. Come on, Bongo Empress. You are my African queen. Come on, Bongo Empress. You the queen of my dream. Come on, Bongo Empress. When people are about the most of I'm a soldier. Hold on. She's sophisticated. She's well intelligent. And when you give her your money to go a market, no one sees the welfare. Ambition high, young to the bird, and lie. Empress of the sky, spread out your wings and fly. Come on, Empress. You are my African queen. Come on, if you have a queen in another life, if you don't want to be an empress, just give it away. And you make me sing. Come on, Empress. We are come from far. Yes, to them we are look on the stars. Them the moon reaches far. Moon reaches far. We love you. It's my duty. I want to look on your face. Me have to smile at you. Come on, Empress. You are my African queen. Come on, Empress. I'm singing on the dream. Come on, Empress. Send me a Empress. Come on, Empress. You never know what's the love for the rest of the job. And you know, send me every day. But you love the come. You love the boy. From the days with Jordan, she said she love our brother boy. Oh, I guess the day I love the boy. From the days with Iman, she said she love our brother boy. I hear everything is in the Iman she want. Every second note of me time and through the editing and she know my man. And this fight for me and she have a mind fun. So me take that to the river, that's the way the band fun. And the hills the golden brain bobo. Him have the earth and the wine we make the nation. Good love, yeah we a punch. The love the from the day with Iman, she said she love our brother boy. Over yesterday, but you love it. When I hear what's the name of the from the day she sing, back in that chorus like one of the world. The day, but you love it. The day, but you love it. From the day.
She called herself the Island Girl, also Gangsta Girl. Please give it up for Chef I want you to give it up for Royal Blue.
How can they see what they cannot know? How can they be what they cannot know? How you feel we boy don't so no. How you feel we boy don't so no. How can they keep what they cannot know? How can you teach if you can't enroll? How you feel we boy don't so no. How you feel we boy don't. Hold up, wait, you cannot be identity, that's no debate. I am not you, this is true, I'm no great. I say that my scheme, or your scheme, I don't know your place. Whoa, people talk about people go, no, he's smart, I think people go, Charlie, I'm Charlie, oh, can't read the Pamela, I'm your own. Me plans on the road, while she talk about you, so, can't eat this, can't eat this, so, teach the art, can't eat this, so. How can they see what they cannot own? How can they be what they cannot know? Oh, you very people, you don't so no. Oh, you very people, you don't so no. How can they keep what they cannot hold? How can you teach if you can enroll? Oh, you very people, you don't so no. Oh, you very, oh, you very. Who could it be? I design in every rhyme and every line and lose and a beat. So lose your time and lose your mind if you never say that you want to know me. This is my style and if you know, give me a mix. And then they don't step to me and this is moving to the music. I tell them these songs are you, give them foolish. You do this from playing a school, I'm rude to a rude. Back then we would stop them from them used to time in broken. Me and Nick just go because usually they choosing. I tell you that Junior got their music was the blueprint. I'm pleased to perfect, but truly love the movement. But this is just a different as I'm blue is not just student. Boy, but another big as some who I give them bruises. For relatively new, but I just knew them was a nuisance. But this is the fool, take them 2 for 1 Tuesdays. Hey, those are camisas on. Those are camisas on. Menina que repetiu no flow, vai vir que a brisa mudou. Vai vir que vai vir que mudou. Chantina mais em cima da show. A menina que sai aqui no tour, a menina mais linda on. A menina que vai vir no road. Just for me to touch on. Now I am style, this is style, I'm a friend. I'm in style, in a style, in a pattern, and I know. Me and I'm a when I do this, I'm going to some shine. Tell me what that's about, know that I'm from. You never come from my shoe, and I'm fire. You never talk that you and I read like a star. Mama, I'm the least, I'm all I never want to be a man like you, and I'm not a car. You're always screaming at the just people that so they can correct my mom, and I don't know the God. The reason why I have my massage and I'm not easy, but easy, cool and fun. Me live in this pattern. Take a fish like ba 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 ba. Me live in this pattern. Take a fish like watch this. Everybody know that Reba, me have the classic soul. The meaning of things I'm not know. They must be back when I'm fast slow. Keep that to the Spanish town. G's shot them up on the ground. The peace shot their Spanish phone. Keep that meaning of savage mode. The peace shot them up on the damage now. Real facts on the summer road. The peace stop your body's down. Peace that shut up on the now. The idea, peace rap, peace that G that touch now. Chat in this, that real facts on the now. Hey, yeah, Joe shit is a no name. Men are new well, they've been old name. Don't know it, was no name. No name, okay, oh name, oh name, because this is so name, so name, and so name, and I throw it, me I got the G, but I want it, but I want that easy, I want it, I'm going to bring the song, yeah, see some song, I got the G, but I want it, but I want that easy. I'm thinking, you know, whatever you're calling, leave me and everyone I'm poverty, leave me and I'm telling you what I'm sorry, you leave me and I'm the star, I'm thinking, you know, whatever you're calling. Them proud of the thing, man, I roll up like so, and showed up a king. Me I grown up, showing up my kids. When the balls and the balls, pull up what you think. When the people are the same, in it, but the same, in it. When the second place, they can't be the winner. Since I want to shame, you're a winner. Call up, shame, and shit for you. I used to talk cool for the deck. I put the one, I put the head. I never want like you upset. I forgot all the time, forgot upset. Yes, my idea fall, I the best. Stress, I used to flash as the best. You best? I used to talk cool for the deck. Take it up. I'm Mr. Can't call me high, but I'm still around everybody that I'm used to. I'm around everybody that I'm used to, yeah. Can't call me high, but I'm still around everybody that I'm used to. I'm around everybody that I'm used to. Leave me and everyone party. Leave me and I'm telling you I'm sorry. Leave me and tell you I'm sorry. The man to mess substance so bad, but they from my high with the substance. Yeah, the love I really just dance, but staying in your lane, you know me, they boss man. Hey, yeah, with the girls sing it up, and the forever thing, you can give it just one. Try living it up, man, and I bring it with your life in the shop. I'm a son of a sister, I'm running the light. Follow the light, the man is a man, I'm a son of the light, I'm reading the man, I'm coming out of the day. You never know, the thing is a high, you never know, the thing is a high, you never know, you never know. I'm a party, whatever you like. Lady, everyone party. Lady, everyone sorry.
Emancipation Park, make some noise right now for the sounds of Julian Marley.
About a thing, 'cause hey, it's gonna be alright. Say don't worry about a thing. Everything is gonna be alright. Hey, rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Freedom, yeah. Pajama, singing sweet songs, yeah. Our melodies pure and true. Sing, this is my message to you. Say don't worry about a thing. Don't you worry. It's gonna be alright. Say don't worry. Cause everything is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smiling the rising sun. Feeling rest, pajama, yeah. Sing sweet songs of melodies. Sing, this is my message to you. Rastafari Almighty, see? And this is reggae music, reggae month, the home of reggae, which controls the whole universe, see? Rasta. One love, one heart, let's get together. Can I hear Jamaica sing? Oh, Lord of mercy, sing thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all
night is holy and young. When the man comes, there will be no doom. At pity on those, the chances grow fast. There ain't no hiding place, but the Father of creation said, one heart, let's have it to.
Daughter of the great Shinna Smith on Children of the Icon Show. Welcome, Jamila.
Young to the east, we like council when they touch into the streets. And Africans from me come to me, trotting back to the old and now retreat. Mama, okay, I know them can be we have a sword and a shield. In Rastafari, I dream, yeah, just a root girls can win. And we are a kick, then it keeps on. Keep trekking away, and then we're rocking away. Passing on down to the police home. It's too late, oh, oh, reggae, so. It's too late, it's moving through you, reggae, so. The music that plays, reggae, so.
She Yeah. We're so dead. We're going to take it back our rights. All of us are fire. Two of us are fire. Two of us are fire. Mr. Golas are fire. The big cat are fire. I'm going to hear you also your fire. And always the courage of you. The big cat are fire. The shower with this fire. Let's see what happens if you we so fire. But your mind is fucking so fire. You can have it in the cold feet so fire. It's just a woman who provides this so fire. Who is so fire? Just have this so fire. It's just a cat and a trick. It's just a piece of I just like the gun. It is so fire. And the picture of the fire. Oh, I love the pistol. He is so fire. He might go and he can't have you. Everybody wants to fire. Everybody wants to fire. You can't stop me now. Happy birthday today. Mr. Everyone, I'm fixed up. Oh, we like one fix. One little fellow. Two hours is the shop and then shop off every day. One little. 2 hours is the shop up every day. He might be up. Oh, people so right. Got the road, cha-cha-cha, so we walk away from back. Oh, no, I look at the river. See what I'll say, I'm gonna be no. And I never get a shot. Rather than 5%, I'll give you water. Just another 50 million. And this is what I like to talk about. The beginning of things. And then I have the last thing I was saying. I am found everywhere. He got me bigger and bigger than I was. So I say I know what I did. Oh, the other don't have me that. You might never say no more. And I told you. Oh, this is the shot that they shot. Boom. Looking for my eyes, they don't know what to say, they don't know my head. Give us a little way, things are in the air, you don't find I know. Hold on. People! The blind must be led, the young must be fed, and I'm tell. Looking for my eyes, they don't know what to say, they don't know my head. Give us a little way, things are in the air, you don't find I know. Listen to the voice, this is not a trend, you're listening. Talk about your want to cease, so. Until you give your originality, what's such a respect and quality? This is what I am quality. I'm talking another personality. People want to make the nationality. They won't say one in the whole humanity. And then why I know we are not a city. We're coming from another personality. And then you know we're so we are people reach out to you, Karabami. Oh, the love is sitting with your family. Come on, I don't need you, and my crew. Now. Wow. Looking for the food, telling you how you feel. All this is we don't talk about me. What's your place? So keep them all around. Them can pass food. Them can pass looking for my mind. Heaven is my world. Heaven is alive. What I am myself. If it can't be that. If you're all you're in. Nobody can be. It's a survival day. Looking for my mind. Heaven is my kids. Heaven is this. You know what I'm risk. In this part of town. Survival is my will. I want to stay alive. No, my food, and this is my food, so I have to be, no matter who you know, Satan said, if you look like that, if you are to it, you're looking for all, and this is my fear, and you come alone, can I go myself, why can I afraid of all the things, I said it is it, all the time, looking for eyes, can I be my head, what am Always take an emergency there, so. Boy, around there, so when a different urgency. It's a social dysfunctional problem. The people, them, no value themselves. So I kill themselves and kill you. That's why someone suicidal thing going on. People value life like nothing. When they have nothing, it makes you feel like everything is nothing. And the girl is in you and peace and life. Watch up, never let no problem get through. And the same folks and over you. Don't think of this, there is no over. Do what you do for me. You don't say that you say that. Come and tell me. Come and tell me. Come and tell me. We'll be hungry and get the house. You when he saw the girl at him. But you see, I think I want to see the first time. Do you say? You be going and see you. For people like that short time. Nobody did it happen. Pull up. We have to commend the ministry and the minister and the MP for this, recognizing the music and culture. Minister Bassett Bridge is one of our best culture ministers ever. And that is clear. I don't want to contest. No contest. I need a real warm round of applause. They are great people like this. Keep the music and culture alive. No mercy. I said that inside like Christ of Jesus. Who's like you? Honorable, the Lord. It's like salvation. Who's like you? No evil one. That's all I got to say. Hear your river, hear your one. The lights of the light come inside. Alright, one day, that's someone that will say that they want to go to church. Because see, Father, that's when I celebrate all the truth. Like a not in a cancer. So that the rivers of Babylon will be sad. And anyway, hold on. Reggae vibes, say that we know. Say reggae. Act like reggae, no. Vibration. Reggae say, my can smoke air. And from she can there. See like I'm in a field. Her things are the way they see. Sorry for treating you bad. Hurry for the way you said. I'm doing to her so well. She's the best thing I've had. It's up and it's never make it on the right flag. Not you all the things like that. Say you're leaving and the reason is clear. Because I am concerned. He thinks that my name is the music. And I got something to tell you, lady. And that you know that you mistakes I made. I messed it to my death. I don't want to get to my end. Hold on and find it for you. Before you see God, you see devil. That's why they lie. You don't say it's your, I'm not devil. If you make it well, be comfortable before you see God. You see, that's why. The devil says God, I'm not devil. If you make it well, you don't talk about it now, no. I'm here of people who don't say God's heart. Oh, you're not. I'm here of people out in the heart. And if I say, I say it's hot. And I jump and be as hot. Let me leave Salute! Reggae! Keep the music and culture alive.
Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app now available at the Apple or Google Play Store. Get it now!
Reggae Month is February. February is Reggae Month. Catch the rhythm virgin. We go online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposium, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCCC's Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside, where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart, feeling of your love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat, dancing to the beat up inside your heart, heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your station. rediscoverjamaica.com.
Presenting highlights of the children of the concert tour. Providing a platform showcasing young and emerging artists in the Jamaican music industry.
Please welcome Boss Girl, Pop, Reggae, Dancehall, Fusion artist and talented Manifa! I should say I would only be in your way. So I'll go, but I'll know, I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will always love you. fills you up. You wipe a burden with joy. When you're in love, it's so wonderful thing. Don't mind at rest. You want to try your best. Prepare a place in your heart. Sing it, walk. Whoa. A place in your heart. Walk. Open up your heart and let this in. Tonight these emotions will be like a sin. On you tell the true love I bring to you. We made a start, so let them part. Let come into your heart. That's where love starts. What? Into your heart. Where love yours starts. Into your heart. That's where love starts. Yeah. Into your heart. Oh, yeah. All right now, yeah. Prepare a place in your heart. Prepare a place in your heart. Prepare a place. Prepare a place in your heart. Prepare a place in your heart. Yeah, wherever the Lord does it. Wherever the Lord does it. Listen. Gosh,
in here. All time on the heads. Give them a roller, lucky bastard. Girl, I'm back today.
Yeah, it's a love story. That one in the name, girl, I've got a date. And it's a thing say, you make me happy. I'm just a man breaking up, and I'm still in love. Yeah, what you wrote? You touch my very soul. You always show me that loving you is where it's at. You make me so.
I
the kind who will do likewise. You do that too, yeah, 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 yeah. I hear about 12 somebody say you better leave away because the man. Yeah.
She's very impressive. She's beautiful and she is absolutely talented. Put your hands together for the one and only Naomi.
man. Let's live the life the best we can. Don't try to work your soul away. No, no, no. Remember, these are not the days. We entered the light before we're old. So we entered the light before we're old. Yeah. Rockin' and rollin' now. Rock and roll. Say yeah. Say yeah. Say whoa. Say whoa. Say no, come on. No time to shot, so give it, man. Let's live the life the best we can. Don't try to work yourself away. No, no, no. Remember this another day. Sing. Oh, let's do it. Come on. Let's celebrate. 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 We're getting in. We're getting in. Everybody. Yes. Oh, yes. Take you on a boat ride. Say, come with me, my love, to the sea of love. I want to tell you how much I love you. Yes. Do you remember the time we met? Oh, baby, how could I forget? I want to tell you how much I love you. Yes. Say, go with me to the sea, and do you remember the time we met? Oh, baby, how could I forget? I want to tell you how much I love you. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey. 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 Yeah. Hey. Bring it. I want you to go Oh yeah. Ah yeah. Now isn't it strange how princesses and kings and clown just papers in sawdust ring. Just while common people like you and me will be builders for eternity. Each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless man, and a book of rules. Each must make their life flowing, a tumbling black or a stepping stone. Just while common people like you and me will be building for eternity. Each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless man, and a book of rules. Everybody sing! Power, 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 power. Sing power, 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 power. Sing it again. I say, common people like you and me, be builders for eternity. Each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless man, and a book of rules. Come on, reggae, yes, come on. People, yes, come on. We're doing this from dusk till dawn. Hey, ladies, say, baby, be true, and I'll give the world to you. I mean it. Listen, babe, come on. Treat me right. I'll love you day and night, baby. Listen, babe, come on. Said I'll give the world to you. True, true. And I'll do what you want me to. True, true. I mean it. You know I mean it. Tell them I mean it. Good God, I mean it. Yeah, listen. When you're down, baby. Yes, yeah. When you're free, just call on me. Say, baby. Yeah. Said I'll give the world to you. True, true. And I'll do what you want me to. True. I mean it. You know I mean it. Good God, I mean it. Why did you go? Baby, why did you go? You make me feel. Say you were my very first girl. I loved you more than anything in this whole world. Sing it. Why did you leave me to cry? Oh, my baby. Had times that I passed you by. You could see teardrops rolling down my eyes. Baby, why did you leave me to cry? Why? I wanted you to be my bride, and forever you would stay by my side. Your turn. Why did you leave? Why did you leave me, baby? Baby. Oh no, I'm so all alone. Oh, I've got no one to call my very own. Baby, why
Why did you leave me to cry? Why did you leave? Tell me. They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is of meaning. But I remember everything of every man who put me in. And I see your light come shine. From the west down to the east, and any day now, anywhere now, I shall be released. We sing it one more time. Any day now, anywhere now, I shall be released. Good night, y'all.
Thank you, Emancipation Park. Thank you so much for making it children of the icons and emerging talents. It has been my pleasure.
This February. February is Reggae Month. Come catch the rhythm virtually. We gone online totally on Reggae Month TV. Mega reggae concerts, interesting reggae documentaries, informative reggae symposia, and lots more. Online daily from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on PBCJ, Jam Vision, JCDC Facebook page, and several other cable and social media platforms. Details available on the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, Reggae Month TV. Tune in daily and be entertained and informed.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat. Up inside your heart. Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Do you have the Reggae Jamaica mobile app on your phone? No? Well, you could be missing out on news, views, interviews, events, and so much more about the impact of reggae music across the globe. Information at your fingertips about Reggae Month and other exciting reggae events. That's the Reggae Jamaica mobile app, now available in the Apple or the Google Play Store. Get it now!
Everybody wanna